Okay, here we go. Welcome back, everyone. This is Alliance Aces. I'm Chip Rodgers, VP of Marketing and Alliances with WorkSpan. And excited to have with us Thomas Iseler. Thomas and I have known each other for many years with SAP. And but now you're leading Americas for DATAVARD. That's exciting. Welcome, Thomas.
Thank you very much, Chip. It was great seeing you this morning, and thank you very much for the opportunity to have a little chat about alliances. And actually, like I told you this morning, it was funny that coming here and kind of thinking that I had seen your post somewhere about something, and knowing that you wouldn't be here, and then here you are.
And then I'm here.
Yes, exactly. It's funny this morning.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. Yeah. I always think of you still as kind of like the master and the brain of TechEd.
TechEd?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. It is interesting being back here, after all those years running it. So yeah, but it's alive and well and doing great. So that's good. Yeah.
You definitely laid a great foundation.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us, and why don't we just start, Thomas? Maybe you could talk a little bit about what you and your team are up to at DATAVARD.
Absolutely, love to do that. Thanks for the opportunity. DATAVARD is one of the what I would call many smaller SAP partners. Probably a little bit better known and more established in Germany and in Europe, because that's where everything started for us, out of Heidelberg, and then we expanded, around there, Switzerland, big chocolate manufacturing company there is one of our big customers in Switzerland.
Yeah.
And we have a pretty significant operation in Bratislava with lots of developers and consultants.
Mm-hmm.
But a couple of years ago, the company decided to come to the US, and that's when I got involved, and we've been working hard on building things up here. And our focus at DATAVARD is, in some ways, like the name says, it's about the data, and it's pretty much about SAP data. The only time we kind of leave the SAP space when it comes to data is when we integrate SAP with Hadoop, any kind of Hadoop flavor, so like a big data story. And what we do traditionally with the SAP data, we don't get too much involved in the transactional side and the business processes, a little bit on the basis, but mostly we move data. So we migrate data, we merge data, we separate data, we archive data, we decommission data. And like lots of years it was about mergers, acquisitions, about divestments of moving data around under the live SAP system. Then it became a matter of upgrades and changes, and now of course the whole move to HANA, whether it's BW or whether it's S4HANA, it becomes more and more significant. And the same thing we have done over the last 18 years, moving data with the tools we have developed for that, is now very relevant for today. And a big portion of that is always also, when they move to S4, their systems are going to get decommissioned, and how do you keep that data accessible for audits or reports, or data gets archived, and things like that. And so that's pretty much the DATAVARD story in a little bit more than 30 seconds.
Well, that's great. So moving data, and I would think cloud is a big one as well, right? If you're moving into the cloud, you've got to get it all commissioned and get in the right places.
Yeah, interestingly for us, it almost doesn't matter where the data lives at the end of the day. I mean, we do in cloud projects in the same way. Sometimes people move, from a traditional BW system, a HANA system in the cloud, and then it goes from an Oracle on-prem to, something, HANA in the cloud, whether it's AWS or Azure, or, for us, it doesn't really make the biggest difference where the data lives. It's as long as we have access to the data.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So SAP is a big partner. Clearly, if you're in Heidelberg, you're right next door. So So tell me about the partnership with SAP, and how it's developed, and how you work with SAP for your mutual customers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, obviously the location in Heidelberg is because of SAP. The location in the US, our headquarters in a small town called Westchester. Just basically same constellation. Heidelberg to Waldorf is like Westchester to Newtown Square.
Newtown Square.
Yes, just within reach. It's for the relationship. It's also for access to resources and stuff like that. The relationship has developed over the years. Initially, it was kind of that whole area of doing mergers and acquisitions, and helping SAP customers with moving the data as part of mergers, acquisition, divestments, plant reallocations, all kinds of things. We initially were like the BW partner for these kind of tasks, subcontracted by SAP exclusively. That was the only thing we did. And then we developed tools for that. And and then we became a development partner for SAP doing that, because SAP realized they have a portion of the tool set, but not all. So the tools that we developed became basically the tools that now are owned by SAP. And then we did the same for the archiving side. The decommissioning side was ILM. They asked us for development help, and the same thing they're doing right now. We're in a joint development project with SAP around the whole HANA migration tool set. And it's a development partnership, it's a consulting services partnership, and we're still doing, the business model has a little bit changed. We're still doing the joint SAP stuff and development and services, but we also have, throughout the years, because of the name and the brand we have developed, we have been successful to not being 100% SAP partner and 100% of our revenue coming from SAP, but there's a changing percentage of revenue that now comes from direct clients, which is a whole different business model, but it's an evolving business model for us.
Yeah. So, well, that's interesting. So you've had a very close relationship with SAP as a partner, but then also have your mutual customers. And how has that evolved? And you talked a little bit about it, but what's when you're working with customers, sort of your joint customers, what are some of the things that you're, as DATAVARD, how are you working together to really provide an ultimate solution for your customers?
I think until about a year ago, it was very clear to us that we did not a lot of marketing, just very little bits, and there were occasional situations where a SAP customer was looking at options to execute a certain project, and they went to SAP and they went to us, and then if we found out that SAP was basically going after the same business, we were just a good partner, which I believe is key for being an SAP partner, that you're a good SAP partner, because SAP is kind of, the owner of the accounts and clients and relationships to a certain degree. And then we just work through SAP unless the customer decided they wanted to work directly with us. Since we have established more of a local presence in more locations, I think the customer's also feeling now more comfortable and confident that they can absolutely work with us directly. We have the resources. We are not kind of just a service provider through SAP, but directly as well. At the beginning, there were a couple of situations where obviously that led to some kind of potential conflicts, not real conflicts, because most of us at DATAVARD are very close with their relationships at SAP, so it's a very fluent and ongoing dialogue. Whenever there was a question about, why are we not working together, we very quickly did something that I believe strongly in. We went to the customer and said, what do you want? What do you want to do? Let the customer be the judge of this. We basically are always of the opinion, whatever the customer wants to do, we are happy to do. And, part of our strengths is obviously we are a much smaller company, so our cost model is very different. We got that great, strong support center in Bratislava. And, sometimes customers just want certain things done, and they don't want it done as a large project, but as a smaller project. And, and then we can probably be rather competitive when it comes to, the cost for a project. Yeah. Plus, if it's our core competency, it's like, it's what they would get anyway. Right. It's just one more step in between. Yeah.
Well, that's it's so. I think that's when you're working with partners. I mean, and this is Alliance Aces, so our audience is folks that are working with partners and kind of learning about how do you do that, best practices and things like that. But I think that's, you just named one, which is go to the customer, right? It's like work with hear what the customer's looking for, and then design a solution together that makes sense for them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the customer should always be the center of this. I mean, this is why SAP serves the customer, we serve the customer, and I believe in the customer is the one that kind of needs to be happy and wanting the solution, and you need to work with the customer to figure out how you want to do it. So I always try to when we have situations like that, I always try to facilitate the dialogue with my friends and counterparts at SAP to then, okay, let's pick up the phone, call the customer, have an open dialogue. I think the customer actually often appreciates the fact that, if you don't try to figure out things behind the scene, but if you're open about it, if you bring that discussion to the table, if you make it transparent, what the options are and how the options are playing out, if you go with one or the other or both together or whatever, the constellation might be. And often it's not just, SAP was one partner like us, DATAVARD, but often it's like, there's often multiple companies involved in these projects,
Yeah, there might be an SI or, another.
From like us, yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So it's, and I think ultimately, it means that whatever the solution is, whatever the best solution for the customer is, you have a happy customer, SAP has a happy customer, right? You both have, which is what you both want.
Exactly, and I think the other key is that you maintain your absolutely best possible relationship with SAP and your SAP contacts, because the better your relationship is with your SAP counterparts or your SAP contact, the easier it is to have that dialogue and figure things out. So, not only do you have a happy customer and then they like what they see and what they get, but the good relationship with SAP is, I think, really crucial and important.
Yeah, because then it leaves an impression, and next time, then you've got a good relationship to work together on future business.
Openness and sharing and frankness, and those are kind of some of the things that I think we at DATAVARD try to kind of live and work by with SAP specifically, because of our close relationship.
Well, that's great. That's great. So business is growing and doing well here in the North America, right?
Yeah. Mostly focus is North America. We do business in the U.S. and in Canada. Some of our bigger clients are actually in Canada, but the majority is in the U.S. And we look at Central America and Latin America. We cover that from our U.S. entity, but right now we're trying to focus on North America. Doesn't mean we would not consider doing business down there, but we're not active. We're not like marketing down there. We don't go to events down there. We don't do we don't buy mailing addresses or anything from down there. It's not a focus for us right now. It's more opportunistic, but happy to work with people from down there and companies from down there. But right now, luckily we're very busy.
Plenty to do here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We've been here now for 3.5 years, and we kind of pretty much tripled every year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. It's
no wonder they wanted you, Thomas.
Thank you. Yeah, it's it's fun that way. It's fun, and it's a fun mixture of, especially in Heidelberg, of ex-SAP, which again leads back to the understanding of what the what SAP is about and how it works, and bringing in people from outside of SAP and making it a fun group and a fun team. Yeah.
That's great. Well, this has been fantastic, Thomas. Thank you. I really appreciate your time today and sharing your ideas and what's happening with DATAVARD, but also sort of more broadly about partnering and working with SAP and all that. So really appreciate it, Thomas.
Thank you very much, Chip. I appreciate the opportunity. It's great to see you, like I said early on, and it's great to have a little chat about this. As you know, my years at SAP has been, a lot of that have been on the partner side. Now I'm at a partner, and everything seems to be a circle and come around, and it's great. Other than SAP, we also trying to build relationships with other partners. DXC, Cloudera, Hortonworks, Microsoft. It's but other than SAP, we don't have those deep relationships, so it's a little longer process. You need to find that right person that you kind of get at the right moment, that trust you, and that is willing to give you a chance to work with you. And then it's about an opportunity. At the end of the day, I believe in that. It's it comes down to finding the right person and finding an opportunity and prove the point, and then that person that trusts you, if you have successfully done something together, then they will take you to the rest of the organization.
Yeah, that's really true, and it's so we've started a little game for these interviews where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to bring up the word, but the word trust always comes up. So it came up, right?
It came up. Yeah, I think partnership is a lot about trust, and I think similar to, building a relationship with a partner, building a relationship with a SAP customer. There's so many of us out there, and you have to find that right connection, and you have to build that trust, and you have to prove that trust, and you have to live the trust, and then good things will happen. Yeah.
That's great. Well, I think that's a good way to end it, Thomas. And just really great seeing you again, and thank you for sharing your thoughts today.
Thanks very much, Chip. I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to seeing you hopefully soon again somewhere.
Yeah, that's good. So I think with that, we'll say signing off from SAP Tech Ed in Las Vegas, and this is Chip Rodgers for Alliance Aces, and see you on the next session.